The following podcast is a part of the Spin Studio Network.
This is Happy Hour with Lucy and Nikki.
So it's like she could hear me, like she could, because as soon as I said we'll be okay, that's when like she passed.
Like she knew you were there.
Yeah.
That's so nice as well that like obviously your
And
mum
yeah,
and
and
dad
she
weren't
passed
together.
like holding my dad's hand like this. It was so
Wow.
crazy.
Cheers, babes. Welcome to Happy Hour with Lucy and Nikki. The real life shit you only discuss over a drink. But before we start, a little disclaimer.
So we are here for a good time and not a long time. So if you are easily offended, then
Scream!
So today we are here with our gorgeous friend Em Davies. If you guys follow us, you know she's a really good friend of ours.
She's been on the potty once before and we just pretty much laughed the whole time.
Yeah, so we thought we'll get Lil back as well because we did their last podcast together, but we thought we'd get Em back in today while she's over on this side of the country and because she hails from Perth.
Hails from Perth.
And we thought we'd get her on to talk about a few other things. Obviously, we're going to touch on her Instagram, her new fashion label. She's just bought out. She's kind of a bit of a entrepreneur. She's got her finger in a few pies, but we really kind of wanted to spend today talking to her mainly about grief and about her mum passed.
Because if people don't know, her mum passed away when it wasn't even that long ago, 3 years ago. So yeah, we've just got her on to talk about that because we know that's a very real thing that a lot of people go through. So
yeah, and I thought it'd be really cool for you guys to kind of see a different side of Em, like more than just, you know, the hot rig-a-dig-dig that she is on the gram.
which she is that too.
With that in mind, let's bring her
her in.
down.
Hello, my little friends.
Little queenie.
How are we?
Bloody brilliant now that I've got an espresso martini in my hand.
Yeah, weren't expecting that, were you?
Love this for us on a Friday.
So just to talk you guys through the drink of the ep, because we're all thoroughly enjoying it, are we not?
Absolutely.
I believe the words were, we are froth into the coffin.
Froth into the coffin.
So
Froth into that there coffin.
Froth into that dear coffin.
We've got the Lexington Hill Cocktail Club. So these are like a Melbourne cold drip coffee. It's an espresso martini, and the coolest thing is that you pour half in your cup and then you keep the other half in the bottle, shake it and pour it out, and it's literally like a foamy espresso martini.
Yeah, and it's actually got like 2 perfect serves in it, so you share it with your friend.
We are genuinely really, really excited about this. I'm not kidding you.
We are genuinely frothing.
to the coffin.
Not really. But anyway, how are we? What are you doing over here, my friend?
Talk
what are
us
you doing
through.
on
What
the
do
East
we owe the
Coast?
pleasure?
Well, we've come over for Lily Brown's birthday, of course.
Yay.
And also
Brown.
Nikki's. So I thought I may as well stay 2 weeks with the chicks and party
So
for
good that
both.
the girls' birthdays are so close together.
We're
just
blessed
mainly
that
for
we're born in
reason.
February
Yeah, it worked out
for
really
our friend
well.
in Perth.
Yeah, about time you bloody bastards come to Perth, I say.
Actually,
Yeah, we
do
really
need
will.
to.
This year we will, for
Yeah.
sure. Lock it in.
Definitely. So we kick off every guest podcast with what is your wildest story?
Oh, okay. Many. There's definitely a couple of wild stories, but all right. I reckon.
I feel like
probably
we've got a couple under the belt, haven't
yeah,
we?
I mean, most of my wildest stories are probably made with you chicks, but
Blessed.
we'll roll with this one. So, in Mexico, we're all there. We're all
We were
partying.
there.
We're all having fun. We actually went to Mexico for spring break.
Turn up spring break.
I would suggest it if you are mentally prepared.
And if you're a thirsty hoe.
Yeah,
'Cause
correct.
You get hit on every 2 meters that you walk.
You would literally we'd walk out of our hotel room and they'd be like, damn girl. And I'd just turn around and say, not a chance, bruh. Not a fucking chance.
Damn, you do any modeling? You do modeling, girl?
And they would all be wearing like backwards flat brims, like knee length, like basketball pants.
The big fluoro cups, the big fluoro drinks.
yes. Big
that they wear
fluoro
around their
drinks.
necks like a necklace.
On a small lanyard, they'd have a little giant cup on a tiny lanyard. And I'd be like, please stay 10 feet at all times. 10 feet.
Scram.
You definitely
Absolutely
had
scram.
some like rogue thoughts come into your brain while you were in the same pool as them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like the pools were dirty.
The pool bar was gnarly.
Oh.
I feel like there was definitely a few P's and V's in that pool.
How about the whole time we were there, that Blueface song was
Blueface, baby.
The whole time, Thotiana, we thought it was about a lovely princess named Tatiana.
Yeah, me and Lucy were at the pool bar at one point and we told this dude that her name was Thotiana or Tatiana.
Tatiana, as we
and
call
he fully believed her.
Joke's on me, really, because it means slut. So, ha, 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 ha.
No, Tatiana and Thotiana are different. We were going with the PG version of
Yeah,
Tatiana.
we were like, touchdown, Tatiana. And they're like, not quite, but lol at you. I'm like, touche, how's your lanyard? So,
It's absolutely bust down, Tatiana.
Touchdown.
touchdown in Mexico, Tatiana.
PG
We're
version.
fully doing the PG. Touchdown, baby girls.
Anyway,
Moving on from that
we were
game,
all in
moving on.
Mexico
Song.
together, but this story is not about us. Take it away, Em.
Yeah, so we all went out on the first night, might I add. I gave the girls a pre-warning about one of my best friends. She loves to get on the piss. She loves
She's a loose cannon.
She's a loose cannon. Anyways, I gave them pre-warnings. I was like, look, she gets a bit loose, whatever. Anyways,
we all though, Queen?
we all do. Anyway, that night we go out. We actually got a limo into Cancun, like into the main strip in Cancun, which is kind of like Kuta if you've ever been to Bali.
It is like Kuta, hey?
Yeah.
It's like got that
Kuta
real
meets
like
surfers.
yeah, Kuta / surfers hybrid. Let's just say there's a lot of shops where you can buy merchandise.
Yeah, yeah.
And giant cups on lanyards.
Anyways, we got a limo in there. We were all getting drunk on the limo, and then we get to a restaurant. And after the restaurant, we were meant to be going to a club. And the club was called Coco Bongo, by the way. We went to a restaurant and my friend, I could see her slowly getting really extremely plastered. And I was like, right, I think I can do about this now. So we're just going to roll with it.
I mean, we were in a safe environment. We were all friends.
We were all
and stuff.
together.
We were
There
on
was
a
like
tour.
20 of us or something. We were on a tour, yeah. So then we go into the club and then pretty much we lose her.
Even I remember watching her while we were at dinner and I was thinking, because like we were all sitting there actually like eating some tacos and stuff and just like enjoying dinner and she was like in party mode.
Yeah.
And I was like, babe, it's 6 o'clock. Like I'm nervous for where this could end up.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then all of a sudden we're in the club and we're in the toilets and I get a call and it's like 3 a.m. and it's my friend and she's crying. And I'm like, oh my God, what's wrong? What's wrong? And she's like, you need to come pick me up. I'm in jail, pretty much. Prison.
Cancun jail, baby.
Yeah. So
Literally.
I was like, are you kidding? Oh my God, freaking out. And then they must have taken the phone off of her and it was one of the
like a police officer.
On the phone speaking Spanish and I couldn't understand what he was saying at all. So then I handed my phone to the cleaner in the toilets and so just so she could understand what he
Help
was saying
translate
pretty
it.
much and help translate it. And he was pretty much saying that we needed to come and bail her out. And the cleaner told us that he said it was like free to bail her out. Like we weren't going to be charged or anything like that. So I obviously got in a taxi, went straight there. And then I got put into this room with a Mexican bloody police officer. It was so scary. And he was speaking in Spanish to me. I had no idea what he was saying. I was just like, I just need my friend. Like I'm here to pick up my friend. Whatever. And I didn't know what he was saying. So I had to translate everything in my phone in Google Translate.
God.
And he was pretty much saying we need $500 US to get her out. And I was like, shit, like I don't have that on me. You know what I mean? Like
In cash? They
in
obviously
cash.
didn't
They
have
wanted
us.
it in cash.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't have that on me. Oh my God. And I like tried to count up all the cash that I had. And it was, I think it was around like 300 US or something like that.
That's still pretty decent.
Yeah. And considering they obviously made this bail fee up as soon as I
Out of
got
thin
there
air.
because
Yeah,
they
'cause
weren't
obviously saw you roll in your Balenciaga necklace and thought, well, let's sting this girl for what we can get her for.
pretty much. And they
Bastards.
told the cleaner so there was no bail fee. And then they
Yeah.
just saw me and they were like, right, let's definitely get some money out of this bird. So I walked down the road trying to find an ATM, tried to get money out. The ATM that I found was broken. So I had to go back there and just pretty much beg them to let me just give them 300 US. And they ended up saying yes, thank God, but it took a long time. Got my friend out eventually and she was just in tears. She was so scared and stuff. But I was like, you lemon.
Oh, and tell the real
tell us
stinger,
what had
why
happened.
did she actually get put in there? Because it's not as crazy as you guys would
Yeah,
think.
so they put her in there because she fell asleep on the side of the road, which, you know what? I actually am glad they did that because like Mexico is bloody dangerous. And
they
God
kept trying to
knows.
reiterate that, didn't they?
Yeah,
Like,
that's
for her
what they said to
safety,
me.
we
Yeah,
took
when they
her
had me in the room, they were saying to me, you know, like, we put her in here for her own safety. She can't be out there, in Spanish
Yeah.
they were saying this, she can't be out there, you know.
It's not safe.
Asleep on the side of the road. It's not safe for you, especially like she had her bag and everything on her.
I'd
like,
rather wake up in jail than wake up with no liver.
absolutely.
Write that down, people.
Put that on a t-shirt, Queen. Jail over liver.
Jail greater than liver at the moment.
Literally.
Or no liver, I should say.
That's an interesting story because I think as much as we do all love to spend a lot of time on this podcast talking about how fun it is being wild and lit and it's fun, blah, 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 what we always do try and really say, responsible Lucy here, is make sure, especially if you're overseas in a foreign country, but, you know, in Australia as well, got to look after each other and you do have to have your wits about you. Like, it doesn't matter how crazy and wild, you know, we ever get or...
And I said this to her, like, before we went, because I know she can be crazy when she's drunk. I said, babe, like, you need to know, like, Mexico is so dangerous. You, like, need to, I know you're going to get drunk, you can do whatever, but you need to still have your wits about you and you need to know what you're doing because...
It's like there's a level
God
of
knows what could have
responsibility. And, like, God knows what could have happened. And also, like, even if nothing overly bad did happen, that still kind of then ended up being your entire night going to this weird jail and having to deal with that. You've got to be careful. So be careful, kids.
Look after yourselves and look after each other, people.
And don't fall asleep on the side of the road in Mexico.
Do not fall asleep on the side of the
Get a
road
little taxi,
anywhere.
go home for a nap.
Well, that is a wild story.
Yeah, that's massive.
And so we've had you on the podcast before, Em. Let's have a little catch up on what's happened in your life since then. So I think when you came in last time with Lil, you had just the night before launched Venom. Because I remember you were wildly hungover.
I was so hungover. Really glad that I had 7 hours sleep last night because I'm feeling fresh.
I'm not doing another podcast hungover. Not a chance.
Nah, not a chance. Lily literally carried me through that whole podcast. I'm not going to lie, guys.
I love that. So how is Venom going? Is it still, are you just frothing?
I'm loving it, but I'm bloody off China for having their friggin' Chinese New Year. Really puts a spanner in the works, doesn't it? But yeah, no, we're working on some cool collections and stuff. So they should be coming out soon. And yeah, it's going good.
Love that.
That's the thing. You always have to like pre-plan.
Yeah,
and you learn
really
that
do.
as time goes on. Like it is.
We're still learning that.
We are still learning it. Although it's like doesn't seem like a long time. China has like a month off in like March-ish every year for Chinese New Year. And then obviously this year it's even extended now because of all the stuff going on over there with coronavirus, which is awful. And so it's just crazy how much we as, you know, like the Western world rely on China for all of our manufacturing.
I've had to start working with an Australian factory like just recently just to get some stuff out because it was just taking too long. Like we just wanted to have something else out, you know, for the meantime.
You got to think on your feet.
And because the consumers never stop wanting, but you can only, you know.
And you can't explain to them bloody Chinese New Year and coronavirus and stuff. They don't care. They just want the product. So
that's
be ahead, I think.
And do you have anything exciting coming up with Venom? Like any new collections to expect in the next few months?
Yeah, so we're dropping a new basic sort of collection at the start of March. So that will be really good. It's a bit more chill, this one. We've got some like tees and little sets and hats and stuff like that. So that'll be good, a bit more wearable. And then the next one might be a bit more festival, you know, for Coachella or something along those lines. So
epic.
Vibes.
Should be good, yeah.
Watch this Space Queens.
And you just released a whole new preset pack.
Yeah, I released 3 new ones.
Em sells, I don't know if we actually touched on this in the last one, but Em sells Lightroom presets.
Yeah.
And talk about that because you've kind of like, your Instagram's kind of gone through a bit of a transformation.
Bit of a transition,
It's
hasn't
like
it?
a skill in itself. Like your feed is so nice.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of got sick of looking at my feed, to be honest. To me, it looked like really messy and gross. So I just kind of wanted to start just literally posting whatever I wanted. So, and now that you know, they don't have likes, I don't even look at like whether I get likes anymore on my photos. And it's so good because it really pushes people, I think, to post whatever they want and be creative instead of just
like a
taking a
mood
photo.
board now.
Yeah, instead of just taking a photo because you know it's going to get good engagement. Now,
And it's nice that like, I don't know, the resharing culture is kind of coming back a little bit.
yeah,
Like,
which is it's like Tumblr and
Yeah.
like I loved that shit when I was younger. I
Yeah,
loved Tumblr.
totally.
So
like you can be like, oh, love that photo, got to share it without it
Yeah.
being like, oh my God, she's using my
weird,
stuff.
yeah, because you can just tag them anyway.
Exactly.
So it's good. Yeah, I'm
It's
loving it.
crazy how much the Instagram culture has changed because I'm obviously working on a Basic Girls Guide, and it's interesting. Some of the content that I filmed, I've had to like take out because it kind of doesn't
It's
apply
different now.
anymore.
Yeah.
So
Even ours is probably different now as well. Like ours still applies. Like
the video
one
we made
for-
together.
Yeah.
I know. I was actually thinking about it. I was like, maybe
We can
Em
probably
and I should redo our
redo
video.
ours. Yeah.
But we'll see.
Well,
But
we could
we've got
put
a
both
week.
in.
I feel like the people need to see the orange outfits. Like, oh, sorry.
Absolutely. In
Yeah.
Mykonos.
Maybe next week we can refilm like another little segment to add into it.
Yeah,
talk
for
about
sure,
how
Queen.
it's changed. But it is interesting how much it's changed, and I think that it's good in the way that now people just do have more freedom to post things that they
Me
really
too.
like, more so than like 1,000 bikini shots with their bum hanging out.
Yeah, just
know?
for,
Yeah.
for likes, you know.
Yeah,
it's good.
exactly.
Yeah, people can get creative, and then I feel like more people that are creative and stuff get like credit when it's due. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's brings out people's creative side, which is good.
Do you know what I think? It's even the movement now of Instagram. Just having a revelation as we speak about it. But like now I think people are really starting. I think there was a time there where everyone was kind of almost trying to do not exactly the same thing, but the whole goal was essentially to get the most amount of likes.
Good
and
engagement.
therefore-
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
good engagement.
It's so
yeah.
good that that's not what it is anymore.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
it's just
and now
it's
people are kind of going
just
down
about what you're
avenues that
creating.
suit them more. So like, Em, you're doing like cool mood body stuff. Like Nikki and I do more like personality podcast stuff. Like everyone's kind of going down a different route.
what suits
you,
them. Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
even as a brand, like if there's a girl with 10K followers and I just think her content is so
Her
on brand
feed's
for
epic.
Jagger, I'm going to gift her.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, 'cause
I'm
she's
like,
going to make amazing content.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you want, yeah.
Well, like she's on brand, not like she might not get like the most likes
Most
in the world,
engagement,
but
yeah.
I'll definitely want to reshare her content.
Yeah. So important.
And so presets, Venom, what else have you got going on? Obviously your influencer stuff.
Yeah. Well, I just made a bloody
my
Instagram
God,
filter
yes.
for the stories.
That
That's
is
so
epic.
and
cool.
it's fucking doing so well. I'm stoked. So last time I checked the stats, which is about 7 days ago, it had 62 million impressions.
Does that mean it had been used that
Whoa.
many times? Wow.
That is massive, babe.
I was like, what? Never
have you
expected
found
that.
that's grown your account?
I don't know. It's hard to tell because when I changed, I say it would have a little bit of an impact, but when I changed my like posting style, when I just started posting more of what I wanted, that's when my account started to grow again.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting.
it's hard to know whether it was that or whether it's the filter. Maybe it's a bit of both, but
Yeah.
I don't know. My account was kind of on a standstill for ages there. You know, when
Yeah.
Instagram changed its algorithm and
Yeah,
everyone's
so
followers were
hard.
just
Yeah.
like going down or, just being really plateau. Like,
Yeah.
then-
Babe, I think we've grown 1,000 followers in like 6 months for vibes. Nah,
Yeah, no, well-
it's way more than that, but it's not like
Yeah.
we're like booming.
Yeah.
Definitely not booming.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that changed it, which is good because like I love doing it. It's so fun for me.
Yeah. I like
And,
that. I like planning the Jagger feed, like, because you can use that for inspo and stuff.
Yeah.
But Wild Ones were just like, outfit, podcast.
Well, Jagger's more important. So
yeah, very true, very true. It's good to have both.
yeah.
So we are, obviously that's kind of like the career stuff that we've touched on now, but we did kind of want to come on to talk to you today about some more personal stuff because, you've been through a fair bit in your time
Absolutely.
In your time.
that maybe some people do and some people don't realise. And I just feel like it's, something that we can shed some light on.
For sure. So I guess today's episode would be about like grief and dealing with that.
Yeah.
So if you don't know at home, Em lost her mum how old were you when you lost your mum?
22. So 3 years ago.
Wow.
Wow, that's not even that long ago at all, is it? No.
That is crazy. And like, were you living with her at that time?
Yeah, so it was just me and mum living at home. So me, mum, Ben and dad lived in
That's your brother, Ben.
Yeah, my brother Ben. He's 2 years older than me. We lived in a little beach house in a small suburb from Perth called Quinns Rocks, and we lived in there like they built that house just before I was born. So I lived in it my whole life. And then when mum and dad split up, I think I was about 7 or 8 years old. Dad moved out, but he let me, mum and my brother stay in the house just because he was just amazing and wanted to be civil and all that stuff and wanted us to have a good life, obviously. Because mum didn't really make that much money. She couldn't afford to go pay rent somewhere else. So we stayed in there. And then when my brother got a little bit older, he moved out. So I think I lived with just mum from when I was probably 18 to 22.
So just the two of you?
Just the two of us, yeah. And then I split up with my ex-boyfriend when I was 20. And then a year later, mum got diagnosed with bowel cancer. And then I met Jake. Weirdly, I met Jake.
So you met Jake while your mum was sick?
Yeah, that's actually how I met
Wow.
Jake. So I was going out and because I was single and, just partying because I didn't really know how to deal with my feelings, to be honest.
Oh, you're young and single.
And I was
What else to do
like,
other than
I
go
was
out
like
for a
20 years
cheeky date?
old. So I was like, I'm going to go
Yeah.
out night clubbing every weekend.
Live
What
your
else am
best
I meant to
life,
do?
Yeah.
Didn't have any responsibilities, so that was great. And then, I went out and met like a whole new bunch of people and they were friends with Jake. And then one day, I think they must have told Jake that mum just got diagnosed. And Jake's mum, by the way, guys,
Yeah.
had also passed away from cancer 2 years prior.
Oh, I thought he was a lot younger. There you go.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
he was like, he was
Would have been
19 or
19,
something.
yeah.
Yeah. And then he texted me one day and was like, hey, like I know we've only met once, but I just wanted to let you know, like, if you ever want to talk about anything, like,
God, he's a freaking angel.
Yeah, he really
We
is.
are huge fans of
and
Jake.
I was like, oh my God, who is this beautiful boy that's trying to be so nice to me?
I love
So
that.
I was like, wow, who is this? And I was at no point ready for a boyfriend. Like I was like, oh my God, I love you, but I can't.
But not yet.
You know?
Yeah.
But just because I was so deterred from my ex-boyfriend that I just didn't really want to even speak to boys. But I couldn't really turn Jake down at the same time because I was like, who is this human? Oh my God. Obsessed. Anyways, we started dating, and then mum was sick for about a year and then she passed. So it wasn't a long time. It was like the cancer that she had was a really rare cancer. So it was bowel, but the like actual cell type was really rare. So it was just like a really strong one. It kind of spread through her body really
happened so quickly.
Yeah.
So can you talk about that year, like from, I guess, how did you find out that your mum was sick and then how did that year kind of progress?
Yeah. So I came home one weekend and mum like had pains in her belly and she just kept saying she thought it was IBS sort of thing or something like that. And her best friend at the time said to her like, Sue, you should just go get it checked, like just to be sure,
Go to the doctors.
She was 40, almost 50 at this point, so she's still so young. And she was like, well, whatever, okay. Went and did it and then they found the tumour in her belly, which was actually like the size of a tennis ball.
Wow.
Which is huge, like huge.
Wow.
So it was at stage 4 when they found that, which is just like such a late stage. It's not really that treatable at that point. But they never said that to her. They didn't really tell her that. We just like did heaps of research and stuff. And then pretty much straight away mum went home and was researching all the time and decided to go vegan because she had read so many studies that being vegan, the cancer can't survive in an alkaline body. So not just being vegan, but if your body's in an alkaline state, which means like it doesn't have any
Acidity.
like acidity in it. So like even certain foods like tomatoes and stuff have acidity in it. But so she tried to keep her body in an alkaline state most of the time, and the doctors were telling her to do chemo and radiation and all that, and mum was just so healthy, like she just hated the idea of putting that stuff in her body, like she didn't want to really do that. So she was like, oh, I'm gonna give this a crack. And she also researched, so she sounds so weird, but she drank 3 kilos of carrots a day because
wild.
Carrot.
for
Like carrot
for
juice.
12 months,
Whoa.
every day. So she would juice a batch in the morning, a batch
Yeah.
at lunch, and then so a kilo in the morning, a kilo at lunch, and then a kilo at dinner, because she read all these like things from actual people who had cancer saying that they cured their cancer by turning vegan and doing that. And she actually spoke to, like, these people were from another country and stuff, but she spoke to them online and everything. So she was just so set that that was going to work. So she was like to the doctor, you know, I remember sitting in the room with him and she was like, you know, I'm going to give this a shot before I do chemo. And he was like, oh, it's not going to work. It's not going to work, whatever. And then she did it. And 6 months later, did another scan, and the doctor like was in the room and he was scrolling down the x-ray page and he was like the tumor's gone. Like, what the hell, you know, like
that is wild.
And he was like, this is unexplainable.
So it shrunk the tumor.
It completely got rid of the tumor, like doing the 3 kilos of carrots a day and turning vegan. And she looked so healthy as well.
Yeah.
Like she looked so good. And the doctor was like, you know, this is not explainable. And I was like,
Like you
"Oh, I can explain
actually, like your skin would
it.
almost start to go
her
orange.
hands were orange. Her hands
Wow.
literally went orange. Like when you put bad fake tan on your hands,
Yeah.
that's what her hands looked like. She was so tan, like glowing, like
That's
crazy. And then
we've got Lily in the room and Lil's like,
hair.
I'm keen.
and then so then it came back. It came back probably 2 months later. She started having the pains again. So she went and got checked and it came back like with a vengeance pretty much. So I still believe like to this day, if she had have found it in stage 2,
what she did.
that would have, I reckon she would have made it to remission. Like I don't think that it would have come back if it wasn't at such a late stage, like if it didn't have such rapid growth, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So then it came back and then they were like, right, you have to do chemo. So she did chemo for 2 weeks and it just, oh my God, I've never seen someone look so ill in their life. Like she was just white, like looked so gaunt, like she lost hearing in one ear and all feeling in one hand just from doing the chemo for 2 weeks. And then she stopped because it just made her feel so sick.
She just didn't want to do it.
And then after that, we were researching things, like we were going to send her to
Ian Gawler Clinic, wasn't it?
the Ian Gawler Clinic, yeah.
That's because my auntie did that, and their whole like premise is going vegan, and like they teach you so much about meditation, and like she was into
keeping
qigong,
like the stress levels low,
like keeping your mind strong as well as like your body, and she actually beat her first cancer when she went to Ian Gawler.
Crazy,
So
Mum read
crazy.
all his books and everything. Like Mum was literally following his diet.
He's a wizard.
So that's what we were gonna do, but it just grew so quickly after that because that was like, I don't know, from when she found out that it had come back, probably like maybe a month or 2. I can't remember exactly, but I think it was like a month or 2. I came home one day from partying and she had a sore leg and she literally like couldn't walk on it. And I was like, oh my God, like what the hell? Took her to the doctor, which was her female doctor that was amazing. And she pretty much said, you've got to go in an ambulance like right now, like you've got to go. So then the ambulance came, picked her up from the doctors and I drove behind the ambulance. She got to hospital and then she was in hospital for 3 weeks and then she passed.
Wow.
So I think like my gut feeling is like being in hospital, like Mum was such a homebody. Like we lived in that house our whole life, you know what I mean? And being in hospital out of her comfort zone, like not being in her own home.
Just got her
Just
feeling
was making
worse.
her stressed and like cancer feeds off of stress and cortisol and stuff like that. So I think being in hospital made it spread even more rapidly through her body. And then by like, I think it was like 3 days before she passed, it pretty much like paralyzed her. So she like couldn't move. And then she was unresponsive, but she was still alive sort of thing. And me and my brother and my dad were in the hospital room for 3 days, up for 3 days straight pretty much. And then as soon as the nurse was like, oh my God, you guys got to like go to bed. Like you've been up for 3 days straight for God's sakes. She brought in like a little mattress and put it on the floor. And as soon as me and Ben laid down, Dad was like, Bub, get up, Ben. And then that's like, I sat next to her and said everything I wanted to say and then she passed. So it's like she could hear me. Like she could, because as soon as I said, we'll be okay, that's when like she passed.
Like she knew you were there.
Yeah.
That's so nice as well that like obviously your
And
mum
and
dad
she
weren't
passed
together
like
and-
holding my dad's hand like this. It was so
Wow.
crazy.
Oh, and that's so nice that even like after your mum and dad had been separated for so long
Yeah.
that they still could come together
Yeah.
in that moment.
Yeah.
Especially for you and your brother.
Yeah. yeah, he held it together so well. And then, so that was freaking hectic, but,
Seriously. So, like, after that, like, you would have had to grow up so quick, like.
So fast. I did not want to go back to that house.
Yeah,
I was
gonna
just
say, did you go back
because
or what
the
happened?
house was pretty much left the way it was when she went to hospital that day, because I didn't leave the hospital for those 3 weeks. I was like living in the hospital. I would go home to go juice her carrots pretty much, and that's it. So because she needed those, she still believed that they were helping her. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And so did I. Yeah, she just wanted to be 10. But yeah, I was her carer as well for like the last 6 months of her. So I quit my job. I was working in like a fashion boutique, and I was at uni at this time as well. But I quit working so I could be her full-time carer. Even though she could do stuff on her own, but she'd have bad days and stuff where she'd be in more pain because the tumor was pretty intense. So she'd have days where she was, in more pain than others, and she was on fucking hectic painkillers by the end of it. And the worst part was she wanted to keep her body, vegan and alkaline and rah, but then for the pain she'd have to take these heavy drugs.
Yeah, totally.
And it's like that's just doing it just counteracts it, and especially not having much food in your belly.
Yeah.
Like just tramadol and all those types of
just
really
such
heavy
a-
drugs. It's like
awful thing for like anyone to go through. It's fucked.
Oh,
and then
honestly.
I like had to move out of that house because I could not stand like even being in it.
Yeah.
And we just pretty much put it up for sale.
Yeah.
And I went and lived with my dad, which was only like 2 streets away. But yeah, me and Ben had to sell the house. And I think when someone like put an offer on it, we just pretty much accepted it straight away because we just didn't want to deal with it. Like,
yeah.
And then
did you have to organise your mum's funeral, or did your dad help with that? Like, how did that work?
Dad helped with it, but I pretty much organised it all. So my mum had 2 older sisters, and they were on their way over from Melbourne because they live in Melbourne when she passed. So they were over and they helped me organise it as well. So it was pretty much like my aunties and me that organised it. And then I think it was like 7 days after she passed. Which was, oh my God, I did a speech. Holy.
You did a speech?
Mess,
oh my God, I wouldn't even be able to.
Yeah. I'm glad I did it
Kudos
though.
to you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But it was hard, yeah.
That's crazy. So then because obviously you were Jake at that time, did you move in with Jake next or?
So I moved in with Dad for a bit.
Yeah.
Jake lived like an hour and a half away from where Dad's was. So
Oh, wow.
it was such
like
a
long
distance.
distance vibes.
Yeah, it was fucking hectic.
How did you start to deal with like straight away after it? Obviously, like you're in this whirlwind of like selling houses and
It's
moving
almost like
and
you're like
stuff.
a bit distracted sort of.
But
it
then
was
like
horrendous.
emotionally, how did you start to deal with it? Like when did you start to feel like was it taking a toll on you or?
Yeah, well, like for a week, I was just every night I would just be like a mess when I'd be going to sleep. So that's when you obviously think about everything when you're laying down.
Yeah.
But during the day, I was sort of preoccupied with trying to plan the funeral and all that sort of stuff that
like doing tasks kind of like.
I didn't really get to deal with it. And then after it all sort of died down, I was like, not well. I think I was not well for about 3 months. I just kind of like couldn't do life, couldn't get myself out of bed, like.
Yeah.
And then
What
one day,
year was this, Em?
2015.
I'm just trying to think because when I met you was at Polly when I got you over for that event, the patch.
That was way before Mum was sick.
So that was before your mum was even sick.
Yeah.
Right.
Because Mum was voting for me.
Gotcha. Okay, we can continue. Sorry, I just was trying to like match my mind up with the date.
Yeah, so then, I kind of just woke up one morning and was like, mate, I just fully believed that Mum could like see absolutely everything I was doing, and I just didn't want her to see me like fucking in pieces like that, So I just woke up one day and was kind of like, oh my God, Emily fucking Davies, get your shit together. Like,
Was there like a
pull your
particular
head-
trigger that like made you have that realization on that day, or was it just you just kind of got to your wits end?
I just literally woke up one morning and was like, oh my God, I fucking seriously think that she could see me like this, and I just don't want her to, I don't want her to. I
Like
told
almost
her
be
I'd be
worrying,
all
kind of,
right,
yeah.
So I
You're
just
like,
felt
I just
bad.
need to start helping
like,
myself.
Yeah, I'm the only one that can now.
Yeah.
Fuck, so I kind of had to just grow up so quickly and
what
do
do you,
life.
What do you think helped you like with your grief? Was there anything that you like started doing that maybe you didn't always do? Like
Exercising. I didn't exercise like at all, like before Mum passed.
Yeah.
And then I literally that day I ended up signing up to F45.
Wow.
And doing F45 like twice a day, which is so rogue. I'd never do that now, but
That's a lot. That's a lot of fitness.
I just had
distraction.
to like
Keep yourself
do something
busy. It's a lot
of
with
box
my
jumps,
time.
And honestly, when you're in F45, like you don't think about anything because you're watching the little screen of the exercises.
Yeah, so it would
It's a
just keep
perfect
me
distraction.
occupied, and it was fucking intense. Honestly, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone.
No.
Oh, here, no. So we've got a photo of my mum at my 21st birthday party, which was 2015. So it must have been 2016, which is wild, not long ago.
That's really not long ago at all.
4
is
years
it?
ago.
Yeah. So you started exercising.
Started exercising and as well, like I think when Mum passed, it kind of like hit Jake really hard too because it just
he would
sort
have
of
been
like
reopening that for him
he
too.
just and like when his mum passed, he was 19 and he was partying so hard, like just trying to mask everything that he was feeling. Like he was just literally trying to not deal with anything. So he never really actually dealt with his emotions properly when his mum passed. And then when I remember like the night we went home from Mum's funeral, we were both like crying ourselves to sleep pretty much. And he was like a mess. Like I'd never seen a boy cry like that in my life. Like he was hysterically crying because he just
like it was
because
everything.
he met my mum as well, and my mum kind of like took him in like his own son as well, like taught him, so much about health and all that because his mum didn't really know anything about that. Jake kind of grew up eating bloody Fruit Loops and roll-ups.
Good Lord.
Yeah. My mum like literally fixed his eczema, like
Wow.
completely healed it just from eating certain foods and all that sort of stuff.
It's so nice that Jake got to meet your mum. You know, like that's like
that's
And Mum
natural.
loved him. Mum loved him,
Yeah.
and she didn't really like my ex-boyfriend that much, just from everything that he did to me. So it's kind of like nice to know that she really loved Jakey. So
she knew. She knew the next one was a keeper.
yeah, pretty much. And then after that, like, it was kind of hard for a little bit between Jake and I because he was like suffering so hard as well. And like we'd go out and when we'd get drunk, we'd sort of argue with each other for a little bit there because we were both so emotionally just broken.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where it sort of like switched and it like was like the opposite, and he was like so supportive and would just like always ask me if I was all right or, like just tell me nice things about Mum or just like do little things like that. And it was like so nice. So yeah, it was like hard for both of us.
You guys
I
are like
think.
in the most like it's like a very unique situation. I feel
like two people that have
weird.
lost their mum, and then both of you, although like your dad's around and Jake's dad's in the picture recently as well, it's not like
You're
you
still
see them
very
all the time.
independent.
You're kind of
Yeah.
like, you're kind of
Yeah.
like each other's only
Support.
family.
Yeah, pretty much. That's what it feels like. And that's, I think, why I love my friends so much as well, because I don't really have much family anymore. So my friends to me are like my life. So
Yeah.
I was gonna say that. Like, do you feel like you have like a particularly strong bond? Like,
yeah,
yeah.
especially with like the Perth girls, like they came and cleaned up all Mum's stuff out of the house. Like
Yeah.
when we had to sell it, like they were like at Mum's funeral, like
Yeah.
they saw the whole thing. And like even one of my good friends, Carly, like when Mum first got diagnosed, like I was at her house like every night, just not well.
Like
Yeah.
and
proper support network.
yeah. So and yeah, it's just amazing.
Shout out to the
That's
Perth
so
girls.
good.
We've met them. We
We
adore
love the
them.
Perth
Yeah,
girls.
they love the
them.
chicks too.
So what do you think, like, since your mum passing has been the hardest thing for you to overcome on your own? Like, has there been anything particular that has been, like, has it been like a Christmas or has it
Yeah,
been
I think
like,
just milestones. Like
Yeah.
milestones are so hard. Like it just makes you think about it all the time.
yeah.
So like even like Christmas is probably the worst because Christmas we kind of my birthday. Oh God, it makes me sad. Yeah, here we go. No, yeah, I would say Christmas. Like each
Christmas is like a weird time for families, I think. And
It's
so
like, yeah, and like because like my dad like lives in Bali pretty much. So on Christmas we just bloody didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But like, we'll keep ourselves occupied, Oh my God, here we go. Oh, sorry about me, guys.
No, I totally, it's different, but I can like absolutely relate
Yeah.
to like Christmas being like a weird time. If your family kind of structure isn't like perfect, it can be like a really, really
and it's
challenging
like,
time.
It's like, yeah, it's just like, we just need to keep ourselves occupied pretty much. Like even this Christmas was a bit easier. Like me and Jake literally just like sat at home and did nothing and just hung out and watched movies. So that was all right. But
With
Yeah,
her
for those
Foy,
vibes.
at least you got
Yeah.
baby or Foy.
yeah, my little Effie. Oh my God. I think she's honestly like the biggest game changer in our life. Like, oh, fuck. Jesus Christ.
Em's
oh my
like,
God, that's
don't
another
hold
5
your breath,
years.
baby.
Jake literally wants a baby now. I'm like,
Oh
hold
my God,
on,
yes.
queen.
He actually was talking to us about
I've got
that
a lot
when you
to
were
do
up.
before that.
Yeah.
Got a bit on my
You
plate
can
at the
get 10
moment, Jake.
sausage dogs before we'll have a baby, mate.
10 sausage dogs pre-baby, please.
It's like a sausage dog farm just to distract
that's
Jake.
honestly what he wants. It's like every year that you don't give me a baby, I'm getting a sausage. I'm like, okay,
Oh my God.
that'll be another fucking 10 years, mate.
I remember you said one time, like in our group chat, you're like, yeah, I've got another 5 because you're 25, and you were like, 26 now,
Yeah.
and you go
No, 25.
25, and you go,
Older me.
I've only got chicks. I've only got another 5 years of seshing, and because I'm coming up to my 30th, so I'm 5 years older than
Lucy's
you.
like, no.
I was like,
I believe it's at least 7 to 8.
No, I said, you've got 10 actually. Is literally what I replied. I was like, 10.
35.
It's 35 and you're like,
hilarious.
here for that, queen, here for that. So I want to ask you a question about like more spiritual stuff. Has there ever been like a moment where you've kind of felt you've had some kind of like,
They're like like a
sign from
experience
your
or a
mum
sign
or like,
Kind of like little ones, like even things will happen and I'll be like, fuck, I swear to God, this like shit would never have happened if like she, I just have always felt that she's had some sort of power over like what happens in my life or like good things.
Like a guardian angel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like even like I really believe in like the whole white feather thing because
I've seen that on your Instagram.
dude, oh my God. Whenever I'm going through a stage where I'm feeling like I really miss her, yeah. That's what I was like, but then you had feathers in your house.
Oh no, I
Lily, yeah. There
You
was
need to explain what you mean. 'cause
yeah,
I think
Lily.
this
tell
is-
the story.
Yeah, Lily. We found a feather in Lily's house yesterday, and I was like, "Oh, feather!" And Lily was like, "Oh, I've got feathers like on her couch, so that makes sense." You know what I mean? But in my house, I've literally got nothing with feathers on it. So when I find a white feather, I'm always like, "Oh my God, that's my mum." Like one time, I was just missing her so much. Like I would drive and just start crying. Like I would just go through this phase where I just could not get her off my mind. And I remember driving and I was like driving from Jake's to the city, which was like an hour drive where he was living at this point. And I was missing her so much and I was crying the whole time. And then when I got there and I went to park my car, I went to grab my purse out of my glove box and there was a massive white feather in my
Whoa.
glove box.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Crazy.
okay, how the hell would a white feather get in my glove box? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
that's crazy.
That's so nice though.
they're like the signs that I always know. It's like, oh my God. Because they always come when I'm really missing her, like when I'm really sad about it. So I don't know. I feel like that's a massive sign. But
yeah.
Have you ever seen like a psychic
Like a
or
clairvoyant or something?
look, I've always wanted to, but it's like it's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I feel like it will be
Almost
such
like
an
a really
emotional
emotional,
thing and I'll
yeah.
need to be so like mentally prepared for it.
Yeah.
Because I think it would throw me off a bit. It would be amazing and I definitely want to do it at some point, but I feel like I'll know in myself like when that time, like when I
Yeah.
want to actually do it, because I wanted to do it straight away when mum died because I was just so like, why did this happen? You know, like I was
maybe
like,
you were like trying to search for answers.
I was,
sort of thing.
I was just like, you know, the healthiest person that I've known my whole life has just died from a vicious disease. Like how? Like there must be
Yeah.
a reason. That's what I would think. So I was like, you know, especially because it was such a rare cancer. I was like, there's no cancer in our genes. Like, you know, I was just trying to find, like I was literally researching every day the type of cancer, why she had it, like just trying to
Yeah.
find answers. So at that point I was like, maybe I'll see a clairvoyant. Like I can find out that she's like, you know, okay or not in pain anymore. Like, and I don't know. I just always think whatever she's doing is going to be better than what she was doing down here because she, you know, she was just so like content with her life down here. She had the same job for 15 years working in a plant nursery, earning $600 a week, you know, just doing the same thing every day. She was so happy, you know, even when she was sick, she was happy about the bloody nurses at the hospital bringing her food in bed, you know.
Happy to be juicing 3 bags of carrots a day. Like,
she was just so
even lug that home from the market.
Yeah, and I just felt like all her lessons in life she had learnt and she had done what she needed to do, you know.
That's such a nice thing to say.
She raised 2 beautiful kids and grew us up so well with like such amazing morals. So it's like,
that's so nice that's how you can.
Yeah, I just feel like she's definitely like whatever she's doing, it's better than, you know, the life that she was living down here, I think.
I think the way you're probably trying to say it is she'd achieved everything she needed to.
Yeah, exactly. And that, I think she could just watch us from up there and, you know.
And be happy.
She
was
happy with that.
Like you said.
Yep. Because I told her it would be fine, you know, and we are. So I will live on.
Did your brother struggle?
Yeah, my brother struggled really bad. I think he still struggles, to be honest. Like, he kind of like has been drinking every single day since Mum passed.
Wow.
So like a lot, and it's like his girlfriend just recently broke up with him. So.
Oh gosh,
it's been hard.
You like stress out.
Yeah,
so much?
It kills me because my brother was like so dependent on my mum.
Yeah,
like just. He was like, she was the only woman in his life. So when she passed, like he was just, oh God, he was a mess. But then he met Liv and got a girlfriend, and then they recently broke up. And I think they broke up because she just like had enough of his shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because he's been drinking every day,
That's
like
the thing.
always,
it's like
you know.
When you're an adult as well, it's like, you know, you have to be able to help yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like there's only so much someone else
You
can
do.
do until
and
you
now my
can-
brother realizes that because he never
that's
speaks
good.
about that stuff, but he
Yeah.
said to me like, you know, I'm paying for him to go train with Mandy. I'm getting him on like a
amazing.
proper
epic.
PT thing.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like trying to do everything I can to help him.
That'll
you know,
change his
drinking every
outlook.
day.
Yeah.
Because like I think he's just masked everything for the
Endorphins
last
are
4
real.
years. And he said to me like he can't even be in his own house right now because it just reminds him of Liv and all that sort of stuff. So
Oh gosh,
yeah. Well, he's on the straight and narrow now, I think,
Yeah.
which is good. Even though it sucks that he's lost Liv, I think maybe that needed to happen to sort of wake him up and realise that he needs to look after himself and his health and deal with
How
it.
crazy is it what exercise can do for your mental health? Like if, as you're saying,
Changed
like,
my life.
it's
Yeah.
crazy. Like even this week I've had 4 days of not exercising, and like I've like had to make a really conscious effort to like don't go into work and be like a cranky bitch to everyone because you haven't exercised. Like that's on you, because we've had some really late nights this week. So waking up in the morning seems hard.
Yeah.
Today woke up, went to the gym, and I'm like, woo!
Let's go. It just
Yeah.
really
Yeah.
sets your day off good.
you
Like,
feel good.
yeah.
You do.
It's the endorphins, I
crazy.
feel.
It's really genuinely, and like I think sometimes you can end up like me, where now I almost like it's like a placebo, because it's like I probably could just have a sleep in every now and then. It wouldn't matter, but you do get
Yeah,
addicted.
that was me this morning. I was like, fuck, not doing that.
You're on
I'm
holiday,
sleeping.
baby.
I'm on holiday at least twice a month. Can't have that excuse anymore. Yeah, true.
But that's the thing. Even when we go on trips and stuff, like when we went to Mexico last year to Cancun, we barely exercised. I think one day.
We used the gym like twice, was it?
I think it was once.
Oh.
But like even then, by the end of that, I was like, oh my God, I'm like going a bit stir crazy.
Eating from that buffet.
Oh, the buffet.
I ended up being called the buffet queenie because I smashed about 3
And
plates.
we'd be
The spaghetti
hungover.
bolognese.
We'd be hungover every day, and we'd go down there and like literally eat spaghetti bolognese.
Literally.
No
It
regrets.
was like going to
good job.
Sizzler for
Yeah, it
3
was like
meals a day for a week. I can't do Sizzler 3 meals a day.
I don't think I could ever go to that buffet again in my life. Make
No.
me feel
Yeah,
sick.
we never made it to the sushi restaurant.
No, we didn't.
Oh, that's crazy.
Well, what advice would you give to someone, Em, who might be going through something that you are kind of not coming out the other side of, but like you've obviously been through the worst?
Yeah.
It's only up from here.
Yeah, exactly. And I think you've just got to focus on the way that you look at it and your mindset. Like if you want to believe that, you know, you know, it can either go one or two ways. You can dwell on it and you can do what I did for 3 months and be really sad, which you're gonna do. But like, you've got to pick yourself back up and just hope that whatever they're doing, if they do pass or whatever, that, you know, the universe has something else in store for them, and it's going to be better than, you know, what they were doing. Or, you know, just believe that like it happened for a reason. Maybe it's going to stop them from being in pain, or, you know, just like life is fucking beautiful, so you need to just live on and, you know, deal with it in the best way that you can. And
I guess in the other breath, it's like, you know, if you do feel like you need to cry, bloody cry.
Absolutely, man. That's one
your
thing
body
that like
telling
got
you
me
to have a
through. Like
release.
everything
Yeah.
was like crying to my friends. Like I saw a psych for ages, didn't make me feel better at all. But like having a cry to my friends, literally, like even now when I talk about it and have a cry about it, still makes you feel better.
Yeah.
And at the time you don't think it's going to make you feel better, but after it just does, because crying fucking makes you feel better. It does. Like it's.
Well, I'm imagining us thinking of us when we were in Greece and we just
Oh my
sat there and we
God,
just
so
all
drunk
cried for
talking about it.
Well, thank you so much for like coming and opening up to us about that kind of stuff.
It's all right, Queens.
I definitely can relate on some level. Like I'll go into it like on another podcast another time. But like when my dad was young, when I was very young, as you know, my dad passed away as well. But I think it's all like every situation is so different and circumstantial. But it definitely is, I can say, like a hole in my life. I guess you would say that you kind of just don't ever really understand. And because because I was so young, I feel like it's kind of like I'm really happy for you that you did get to spend those years with your mum and you did get to know her so well. I'm like, I'm really glad for you. Not glad, but like I'm envious of you almost in that way that you did have those special years with your mum. And
I'm so lucky in that retrospect for sure.
And you got to spend like 4 beautiful years living with her like alone and stuff. Like those will be memories that like you just can't ever.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's been really refreshing and beautiful that you've been able to come and share all of that with us. Like it can't be easy to talk about that stuff. So thank you for that.
We appreciate
Anything for you guys?
We've got a little cheeky Queenie question to ask you. We touched on Jake a fair bit in the podcast. One of the Queenies wants to know, how do you and Jake stay truly happy within your relationship?
Oh, good question. I think just like communication between each other is like so vital. If you can't, you know, communicate properly with each other, I think it's just like, it's not going to work. But I travel all the time, so I think we're both very like-minded in a lot of ways. So we just sort of get along really well in that aspect. So I don't know. I think, you know, we'll bicker and stuff like that, but we just get over it so quickly when we do, and we know that we're going to be with each other forever. And, you know, well, most likely.
Write that down.
Write that down, Jake. You're in, Queen.
Jake will like that.
One thing from the outside in looking at you guys, though, you're so supportive of each other.
Oh, it's so nice.
Like, it's incredible. Like, you
Well,
can
it's like
visibly
we've
see
only
that.
really bloody got each other, so we've got to be. You know, we've got our friends,
whole
but
podcast and listening to you talk about that, then it's like very apparent that you guys are like a unit in terms
You have
of
a strong bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've been through
I think
so many
that's
similar
probably
things.
a reason why we like work so well together as well, because we've just been through that shit together. So it's like
Yeah.
any like little minor issue to us, we just don't care about anymore, because we've just been through
You've
so
been
much
through
rough
so much
shit.
more.
Like,
Yeah, for sure.
So even if
really
we
have.
bicker or
You've got
argue
a lot of
over something,
perspective.
yeah, we just get over it so quickly, because we're like, fuck it, we've definitely dealt with worse things. So
Yeah,
let's
literally.
move on and stop being
Yeah.
angry at each other, because we're still going to get over it at one point.
I guess
know?
that's a nice thing to take home for anyone. It's kind of like, it could be worse.
Yeah, and it's
worth
like
it.
sometimes I think like sometimes, I don't know if Jake thinks this, but sometimes I'm like, is this going to matter in a week's time? You know, like, is this going to
Fully.
matter in 4 weeks' time? No,
Yeah.
absolutely not. It's stupid. So let's just move on, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I
And
kind
would you
of
say
ask myself,
baby Uffy makes you truly happy?
oh, she does. She's literally like the fucking lifeline of us, honestly. Like, I just don't know what I'd ever do without her.
I
She's
love
not even
that.
my dog.
well,
she's
she is.
Our dog.
Basically is,
Yours
but
and
you know,
Jake's
it's
dog.
Jake's dog, but I'm pretty much her mum. So
I love that.
FO.
Boy. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on today's podcast. We love that you've been able to open up about such personal things. We really appreciate it.
Pleasure, Queenies. Thanks for having me.
Always a pleasure. Thanks for joining us over on the East Coast, you big Westie.
Let's go get lit on the farm.
Let's go have a
now
bloody
to
pearl
celebrate
of a
Lil Bo's
weekend.
birthday.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. And as always, cheers.
Cheers. It's happier.
It's happier,
Froth to
baby.
the coffin.
From to the coffin.
This podcast is part of the Spin Studio Network. To stay up to date with us, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast, leave us a review, and follow us on Instagram at @we_the_wild ones. Cheers, babes.